Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. And today we've got another short video about why we're painting the ship the colors that we are. Things have been real busy in the shipyard this week, so we've only had time to make some short videos, but this has been a very, very common question we've had during the dry dock tours on weekends. So, why is the underwater hull of this ship, and many ships for that matter, painted red? Anyway, that's a good enough question. We decided to make a video about it, even though it's a relatively short answer. The underwater hulls of ships face two main threats: rot and growth. Rot takes a long time and can be stopped by applying a coating over your steel, iron, or whatever other kind of metal you're using. But growth happens relatively quickly, depending on what type of water you're sitting in. So going all the way back to the age of sail, folks found out pretty quickly that certain types of materials act as biocides and will prevent growth on the ship. Some of the earliest U.S. Navy warships, such as Constitution, had copper plates hammered onto the bottom of the ship. This did two things for them. One, the copper plates was a little bit smoother than the wood, and so it helped those ships with their speed. They were more hydrodynamically efficient, but also, as copper oxidizes, that material kills marine life and growth that tries to attach itself to the bottom of the ship, which prevents biofouling, or a bunch of growth on the bottom of the ship, when the ship starts to grow a beard. So that doubly helped the ship remain hydrodynamically efficient by making the underwater hull smooth and keeping it smooth for longer. When ships transitioned to steel hulls, they would often use paint with copper mixed in to continue to act as a biocide on the underwater hull. Those types of paints are called anti-fouling paints because they prevent marine life and growth from fouling the hull. On older sailing ships, when the copper starts to corrode, it turns this green color, often referred to as verdigris. But when you mix copper in with paint, it tends to tint it a red color. And so the majority of anti-fouling paints for a long time were red. Remember that old saying about the Navy: never let progress stand in the way of tradition. There are far more modern biocides than copper that are used nowadays. However, because ships' bottoms are traditionally painted red, you still see the majority of bottom paints in a red color. It's worth pointing out that not all ships used red bottom paint. The Italian Navy during World War II used a green color that was far more reminiscent of verdigris than of traditional Western red bottom paint. Even though Battleship New Jersey is not painting anti-fouling paint very far below the wind waterline, we chose to still paint that part of the ship red because it's traditional. I've gotten some comments in the past: well, isn't the red paint going to make the ship more visible to enemy ships or to enemy submarines? The short answer is absolutely not. Submarines have a notorious lack of windows. The periscope sticks above water and looks at the above water part of the ship. You can see where the bottom of the ship is taped out. That's where the black boot topping is going to go. That covers the whole part of the ship that is likely to be exposed by wave action. So if we did our job right measuring this out, from above water, you're never going to see the ship's paint. And from below water, the Delaware River has a visibility of about 6 inches. So yeah, if any submarines get within 6 inches of the ship, they might see us. But otherwise, they're using different systems like sonar to detect us from much further away than they could see us visually. When we originally brought New Jersey into dry dock, her entire bottom was painted black. That's because the Navy didn't apply anti-fouling paint to the ship when she was put into mothballs. However, when she was in active service, she would have had that paint on board. We no longer interpret the ship as if she was in mothballs. We interpret her as if it's around 1989-90 during the ship's last active deployment, when she did have red bottom paint applied in Long Beach in 1987. It's worth pointing out that other museum ships have not necessarily repainted the bottoms of their ship red, and that's not a problem. For example, Battleship Missouri in 2009, during her yard period, they repainted the entire hull haze gray, painted the black boot topping along the wind-water line, and then left it that way. That's perfectly fine. Nobody's going to see the ship's bottom once she gets back in the water. Likewise, Battleship Texas painted the freeboard blue, and then they painted from the wind-water line down all black, as opposed to adding a different color bottom paint. Again, perfectly fine. Nobody's going to see it. One of the reasons why we're using red is because the system of coatings we selected had red as an option. So as we're painting the bottom of the ship multiple colors, if you have a question about why that is, check the link in the description below to a video we shot about that earlier. But as we're painting the ship different colors, red was an option to leave as a top coat, so we chose to take it. We're going to be using the photographs from this yard period for the next 30 years until we take her out of the water again. We had been looking at other systems of coatings as well, and those did not include red as a color option. And so if we had gone with that coating, we would not have used red at that time. It's only because this system of coatings came in red that we chose that as the top color, and it's purely a cosmetic thing. It's not going to help us with preservation any better than if we had have done gray or tan or black or any of the other colors. So now that about half of the hull has been completely painted, make sure you come out to see the ship in dry dock. There's a link in the description below to tickets for dry dock tours. We actually just added some more time slots because we're so close to selling out. So if you've been waiting for your chance, now is the time. Go to battleshipnewjersey.org or check the link in the description below. What color would you have painted the bottom of the ship if you were her curator? Let us know in the comment section down below. Do you think red was a good idea, or do you think it makes no point? Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about the ship and our channel. Thanks for watching.